Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now, here's the guy who's been soaking for the last 48 hours in OxyClean, Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Friday afternoon Big Brother Canada Roundup. And we're going to be talking about everything going on in Big Brother Canada and all things on the Big Brother Canada live feeds with a team of live feed reporters here on Rob Has a Podcast, taking you into Friday night tradition. Amazing Race is starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll be back with a podcast recap after that here on a Friday night. So basically, the coolest Friday night that you could have, talking Big Brother Canada and Amazing Race back-to-back here on Rob Has a Podcast. All right, so let me introduce you to the people that we're going to be speaking with today. Again, we have an esteemed panel of our live feed reporters who are vying to become some of the permanent live feed reporters here on Rob Has a Podcast. First, you've met all these people before. Well, let's welcome them back in a different combination. First off, I talked to him, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. Here he is back. It's Alex Kidwell. Alex, how are you?
I'm doing good, Rob. And, to everyone out there, I know I may not be your favorite live feed correspondent, but just like Brittany and Johnny, I'm going to need you to just keep up the charade.
Keep up the charade. All right. Well, Alex, welcome back. And great job with this setup. That it's a nice, clean picture, and you sound great, ready to go.
Thanks. Yeah, I really brought my A game this time. It all came together nicely.
Brought the A game. People are going nuts on Periscope right now. All right, Emily.
Yes.
Tell us how have you been? Emily Stobbs is with us.
I've been really busy working at the Dr. Phil show, wrapping up my last week, so it's been a little hectic, but I'm here.
Your last week, Dr. Phil is getting canceled?
No, it's just ending. Season.
Oh, okay. The season is ending?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So what do you have lined up for the summer?
Hopefully another job somewhere in production, possibly Big Brother. I don't know.
Oh, okay. You could be get us lots of stories. Hopefully.
Yeah,
All right,
hopefully.
Emily. Thank you so much. Can't wait to hear what you have to say tonight. And then joining us here tonight, our Canadian on the panel. Here is Havish Patel. How are you?
Good. How are you, Rob?
Very good. Havish, your map is looking great. Are you ready to go tonight?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Been watching the live feeds, so ready to report on them.
All right, good. So a lot to talk about here tonight on our Friday night recap. Of course, this show is live and interactive here on robhasawebsite.com. We've got the chat room open on Rob Has a Website. Plus, we are also going to be taking your tweets in this show with the hashtag RHAP, and then also on our YouTube channel at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube. All right, it was a week where we said goodbye to the Ginger Ninja, who had a very interesting, at least, exit from the house. Let's start there, and then we'll get into leading up to what's been going on since this week's HOH and some of the stuff that's been going on with this new twist. It was announced, another Twistos twist in the house. So Greg ends up giving a speech before the House gets to vote, where he really was, I thought, very aggressive towards Johnny. Havish, could you talk to me a little bit about your take on what Greg had to say?
I thought initially when Greg was speaking, it seemed like he was going to be really nice to everybody and really apologize for what he's done. And then all of a sudden, it just took a real bad turn, and no one in the house saw that coming, so it was really surprising.
Yeah, I don't really understand what his problem is, because did Johnny actually do anything, Alex? Is there any reason why Greg should actually be mad at Johnny?
No, I think if he was watching what we were watching, he wouldn't put it on Johnny, but I think he really had this idea in his head that Johnny staying up all night in the HOH with Sarah and Brittany the night before is where this notion came from, and not that it had been Brittany's plan all week, which in fact was the reality. So
yeah. Perception
is reality, and Greg's perception was pretty skewed by the time he was done in there.
Yeah. Havish, you're not from the 604, are you?
No.
Okay, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Neither am I. All right, so he gave this speech, and really he told Johnny he needs to get over his insecurities, which is really sort of a jerky thing to say especially on a week coming about whether or not Greg is a bully or not. Emily, is the verdict in, is Greg a bully?
He's a little passive-aggressive, but I don't think he's a bully per se, in my opinion.
Okay. Have there been bullies in the Big Brother house?
Yes.
Okay. Who in your mind is a Big Brother bully?
Well, from last year, I would say
Not a
Andrew.
Big Brother Buki, a bully.
Oh. Let me see. I don't know then. Anyone else?
I mean, Dick put a cigarette out on someone's arm, yeah?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
That's a thing? Okay.
That happens.
All right. So Greg, it wasn't quite that bad.
No.
Okay. So he was just intimidating, but is physicality the line for being a bully in the Big Brother house, Alex?
I don't know. I mean, most people, I think, would consider what Amanda did to Alyssa bullying because even though it wasn't physical, I mean, it bordered on, it made Alyssa feel unsafe. And I think, that's part of it, too, is how the person who's on the other side of it is receiving it. And if you're in that position and you're locking yourself in the HOH because you're terrified of what the other person might be capable of, then I think maybe there's a conversation to be had at that point.
Okay, so the bullying is in the eye of the beholder, is what we're saying. So does Johnny feel like Greg is a bully, Havish?
I don't really think so. I think he just feels like he was really intimidating. I think maybe to a certain degree he feels that way, but I don't really think that he was a bully. He didn't really push anybody around that much. All he was saying was he thought he had certain people when he didn't have them.
Emily, would my list of top Big Brother bullies of all time be a better podcast than what the live feeders have done this week?
Probably yes, actually.
Yeah. Now, let me ask a quick question. I know we're not talking about the live feeds, but these podcasts that they're doing, didn't it start out they were doing Rob Has a Podcast, and now they've made up their own podcast? Emily, what's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about exactly, but they were starting to make mock-ups of Rob Has a Podcast, and then they started to just do their own. I guess they got bored of you. I don't really know.
What do you think it is? Did they get bored of me? Did production tell them they had to do something different? And is that a competitor podcast? Should we stop promoting the Big Brother Live Feed podcast? What do you think, Emily?
Possibly. I think production probably did get involved a little, maybe.
Alex,
or maybe the podcast got annoyed.
Do you think it was production, or do you think that they're starting their own podcast and we have something to worry about?
Well, based on what happened to Jordan today, I don't think I want to implicate production in anything or kind of even touch that with a 20-foot pole.
All
So
right,
we'll
talk about that. But is the Big Brother Live Feed podcast on Periscope yet?
No, not yet.
I don't think so. Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about then Greg's exit from the house. And so the votes come in 12-0. He jumps up, runs out, doesn't hug anybody. He claimed to Arissa that, I just didn't want to cry. So, Alex, are we buying this?
No, I'm not buying this. I think, he probably just didn't want to have to deal with the confrontation. It's kind of a face-saving move, isn't it? I mean, you feel like these are the people that just got one over on you, and you probably just want to bolt. I mean, that's probably my instinct at that moment, too, if I'm in that position.
Yeah. Emily and Havish, you see it the same way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like he didn't want to stick around and talk to any of the people because he just really felt betrayed, I think.
Right. Out of our first 4 people that have gone out, real quick, who's been the most angry person to leave the house? Because I feel like we've had a few angry people walking out of the house. Havish, in your mind, of the first 4, who's been the most angry?
I think Neha has been the most angry, especially because she got to go out to no audience, and she went out with no chance to really defend herself. She didn't even get to play in a POV. So I think she deserves to be the most angry too.
Neha, okay. Emily.
Mm-hmm. I would say, Risha was angry, but I think she was more silently fuming. Neha, I agree with Havish. She was angry because she didn't get to defend herself or save herself. Greg was angry, but at the same time, he kind of looked like he was like laughing about it. Like, I don't know, he thought it was like a joke. So I would probably say maybe Risha.
Risha, she
But,
was
yeah.
pissed too. Alex, what do
She
you think?
was pissed.
Yeah, I think Emily made a good point. I think with Greg at least he seemed to know. I think certainly by Tuesday, I think it seemed pretty clear that the votes weren't going to go his way. So he had some time to kind of decompress. With Risha and Neha, I mean, both of those were twists that just kind of hit him like a ton of bricks. And I think both of them were. I mean, yeah, like Neha was more. It was more obvious in terms of what she was saying and how she was saying it. But I definitely agree with Emily. I think Risha was silently just seething. I think it was very clear.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty interesting when these people come back into the house and ultimately have to duke it out, because I feel like that there could definitely be a lot of negativity with these people who are out early in the game so far. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So we set the stage for another HOH competition, but just to reset anything else from the episode, we had a little bit of Ashley and Zach and that relationship. Emily, could you tell us a little bit more about your take on what's going on with Zach and Ashley?
Well, I definitely think they have attractions towards each other. I think they want to pursue it a little bit further, but at the same time, they're trying to hold back because they don't want their emotions to cloud their judgment, and they don't want to let the house know that they are that close. So I think there's a lot of sexual tension going on between them.
I'll say, how about that scene where Ashley and Zach were talking, and Zach was in the towel?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, he was wearing a towel, and he was like laying down at like a 45-degree angle that was like pointing at her. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought I was watching The Bachelor for a second. I was like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, like 50 Shades of Grey.
Fantasy room.
Yeah, this is crazy. Like, I don't know and then, you know, they're hooking up in the have-not room, and I don't know. This attraction is going to only grow and grow. I think they're kidding themselves if this isn't going to become a full-fledged showmance here in 2 weeks' time. Emily, what do you think?
Probably. I could see that definitely happening, but unless something comes in between them sooner.
Yes. What would come between them?
Sarah and Brittany.
Sarah and Brittany. Why? What would they do?
They want to separate them.
No, they'll be unrequited lovers. Then that'll make them want each other more.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Yes, they need to, if you want to split them up, they need to just go go for it and get it over with. What do you think of that, Havish?
Yeah, I think Jordan has an issue here too, because if they get closer together, that Newport Alliance might crumble.
Yes, so he's upset about this, something I've been talking about since the get-go here with Zach and Ashley. All right, so we're technically, that's live feed stuff. We'll get into that a little bit more. Anything else from the episode before we segue into live feed stuff? I felt like there wasn't a lot of stuff going on. We had the T-shirt challenge for an advantage in the HOH, and other than that, not a ton of other stuff going on the actual Wednesday night episode. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I think that's fair. One thing I would say is, I just, for a point of interest, I think it's very interesting that right about the same time, I mean, I feel like I've kind of experienced deja vu this week, because here you have a baseball player playing the game with a very heavy hand, going out like week 3, week 4 to a back door, and I mean, it feels like Devin all over again, and I just want to see Jeff Kent play Big Brother now.
Bro, there's no way that you could call Greg the new Devin, that he has no honor, he's no integrity, that how could you say that he is the Canadian Devin? He's not even from Devontopia. Does he have a daughter? I don't know. Does he have a daughter?
He's got a mohawk.
He's got a mohawk. Who are we hoping to see Greg back in the house? Real quick, give me who you guys hoping to see come back? Alex.
I'd like to see Neha come back. I think she's actually a sound strategic player, and she probably got screwed.
Neha's gonna be in and back out. I think it's she's. I think all of them might be done. What do you think, Emily?
It's tough.
As much as I like Risha, I would rather see either Cindy or Neha get back in the house.
Yeah. I don't know. Havish, do you think that, who's your pick, and then do you think that any of them can last more than 1 week in the house?
So my pick for good TV, I want Greg back in the house because I think that would be really entertaining.
Everybody wants good TV.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think from a strategic standpoint, I think Neha should. I'd like to see Neha come back in, and I think Neha could last because she has two alliance members in Brittany and Sarah that she could possibly work with, and she might be able to skate by a little bit.
But don't you guys think it was a mistake to get rid of Greg? I mean, if you're some of these people like, your Jordans or your Zachs, your Kevins, these guys that are like, hey, let's ride the middle. Let's ride the middle. Let's keep both sides fighting against each other. And, I mean, the one side is rather small in Sarah and Brittany and Johnny, and then versus the Chop Shop side of the house. I mean, I love that plan to keep Greg in the house for another week. And I was really hoping that Bruno was going to be able to pull it off. I don't know if it was great for Bruno, to be honest. I think that maybe for Bruno, the best thing that happened to him was getting Greg out of the house. Alex, why didn't more people see the benefit of keeping a guy like Greg around for another week?
I'm with you. I got very excited when this idea started circulating because I thought there was real merit to it too. I think there is something to be said for just using someone who's already clearly kind of burned so many bridges as, just kind of a shield to kind of propel you forward in kind of the chaos that's to come. I think it makes a lot of sense for more players than actually gave it consideration.
Yeah, I love this chaos theory, and I think this is how I would play Big Brother. That I would never vote out the Devin, the Greg, any of these people that we talked about in the last podcast about how that Robin Cass is finding these big meathead guys, and she's cracking up because she knows that they're going to be out soon. I would put the joke on. Well, I don't think it would be a joke on her because I think she'd be happy. But I would keep these guys around for as long as possible because nobody's going to be able to suspect anything else is going on because everybody's going to be so distracted with these guys. Emily, do you see a downside with this plan?
I actually agree exactly with what you just said. If you have Greg in the house, everyone's going to be focused on him. They're always going to be talking about what Greg's doing or what Greg's scheming about, what Greg's spreading rumors about, and it's going to conceal you because they're just going to be focused on him the whole time. And they're going to be like, we need to get him out, and they're going to ignore you.
Yeah, it's a good smokescreen. And I was talking about this. I feel like this is even relevant in the Survivor season that we're watching. Not to get too far into that. But everybody's so fixated on one person. I think if you get rid of that one person, then people are going to start looking at, okay, who's the next target? Who's the next target? And if you can keep that sort of, I know that the term meat shield gets thrown around. I love that idea. And so I feel like it's going to, first off, it makes good TV, and everybody wants good TV. And second of all, it helps distract people. It's chaos, and I want chaos in the Big Brother house so people can't tell what I'm doing. All right, so let's go ahead and actually I want to open things up. Scott, let me know if you have questions for me about the show before we get to talking live feeds, and then we'll mix up taking questions and getting into some live feed stuff. So let me know if you got something, some general questions. Okay. All right, let's take a couple of questions here talking about what's going on before we get too far into the live feeds. All right, let's talk about TDOT for life. The amount of twists already in Big Brother Canada 3 is killing the season. It's become a crapshoot. It's taking away from the individual's game and strategy. Do you guys agree or disagree? This is a great question. In Big Brother Canada 1, I got a little worked up about the amount of twists that were going on in the season. I felt like, what are they doing? They're taking it's not fair. By Big Brother Canada 2, I came around to it, but it seems like we are having just every single week there's something going on that affects the outcome of the vote. Let me go down the line. Havish, is Big Brother doing too much for your liking? As a Canadian, are you upset with how much production interference is going on week after week?
Yeah, I'm not happy with it. We just had the instant eviction, and the Survivor version of voting, but this is, I think, one step too much. I think we need a week of just level playing field, just normal Big Brother, and then maybe a couple weeks down the line, we should have another one of these interesting twists.
Yeah. Outside of the Cindy vote, was that the only week that we had a regular, like, traditional HOH, nominate, veto, and then a Wednesday night eviction, Emily?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I think that was the last time it was, because, like, the twist that they did this week, I think that would have been better, like, 2 weeks down the line, personally.
Yeah. It's just they're really just, like, out of the gate. Boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that like they might say, oh, it's crazy. We're not letting these people get their feet under them. But, like, I don't know if there's any viewers, and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat room about this, but, like, I don't know if any viewers are like, oh, my God, there's so many twists. It's awesome. Like, I think people just like Big Brother. They want to see these people. They want to see them play the game. And, you know, they really just muddy the waters, I think, with just twist after twist after twist. Like, if it is a twist every single week, it's not a twist, Alex.
Yep, you've reinvented the game is what you've done at that point.
That means the twist is when you don't change it.
Yeah, we're about to flip the script again and just see Big Brother with no twist, and people will be going crazy over it.
Yeah, twist means you're doing something different than you normally do. You can't do more twists than what the regular thing is. Otherwise, then the regular thing becomes the twist. Up is down, down is up.
Yeah, and they're starting to predict what's coming the next week too. Like people are talking about, oh, could Canada's veto be this week? And it's, well, if they're thinking about it, then it can't be too twisted. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So the Twistos twist this week is this talk about Canada is going to get a vote on the veto. And so there's been a little bit of controversy about this as well. And now, from what I understand, Arissa set it up this way, that people will get a chance to vote on the veto. It will either be A, vote for a forced veto, which the HOH will or the veto will have to be used, even if the person doesn't want to, or it's a double veto where the HOH will have to rename both house guests. Alex, have I set this up correctly, and can you speak to the controversy?
So initially, based on what Arissa Cox announced on the episode, that is exactly what it was made to be. I mean, that's what everyone thought, and they went online and voted by the thousands under those impressions. Then, later online, it turns out that it displayed that it said that house guests will have double the chance for veto power, which people then took to me, okay, so is there going to be 2 vetoes for 2 separate people? And then the ultimate announcement was that the veto holder can veto 2 noms, or they can veto 1 nom, or they can veto no noms. So really, it's like an option, but it's not anything to the degree that, like, it could end up just doing nothing. And so that's not what people thought they were voting for when they first took to voting.
Okay, and that's for the double veto?
Yes, the other one is as advertised and hasn't had any issues. But a lot of people went online voting for that double veto thinking, oh, this is how, Johnny and Sarah will both come off the block, and it turns out that it's not quite that cut and dry.
Emily, do you feel like this was a production, bait and switch, or do you think this is a legitimate it was a miscommunication?
I think it was a miscommunication, and what I was thinking the other day, I was like, this is the closest thing we have to a coup d'etat. I guess it's like their version of it, so I don't know. Yes.
Okay. Havish, is there a Canadian coup d'etat?
Well, coup d'etat is French, and half of our native language here is English and French, so coup d'etat is French.
There you go. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and open this up to some of the stuff from the live feeds. Okay, so I'm going to hit the buzzer. All right, this means we are in a spoiler-free zone. We are talking about live feeds and anything else that we want at this point. And everybody else, you have to deal with it now. Just get out while you can if you don't want to be spoiled before you get to Sunday night's show and Monday night's show. And Emily, could you bring us up to speed on our HOH and nominees?
Okay, so Bruno won HOH, and he put up Sarah and Johnny.
Okay. Sarah and Johnny. Now, Alex, was this a smart move for Bruno, and are those his targets?
He's targeting Johnny specifically, but yeah, these are his targets. I think he's just kind of picking up from, where they left off before Brittany's HOH, which is, reassemble the Chop Shop minus Greg, kind of pick up the pieces and try to move forward, take out the opposition, which is, as they see those three.
Yeah. Is Johnny a big threat, Havish? I mean, to me, I don't really get this for Bruno.
Well, Johnny is a threat to the Chop Shop because he's directly going after them. So he's a known threat going after them, and so is Sarah and Brittany. So, and they're potentially going to target Bruno and possibly Bobby as one of the main targets.
So, Alex, do you feel like Bruno is drawing dead this season?
I don't think he's drawing dead. I think he's not in a great spot, and I don't really know that he should have won this HOH because it does kind of just, I think it can only hurt him, really. It just kind of, cements his position as to how he was going to go. But, I mean, I think there's ways to come back from that. I mean, we saw, everyone's target the first few days was Godfrey. I mean, if somebody else does something bigger than what you've done, you can find your way kind of back into the shadows, as Kevin said.
Yeah, I really feel like for Bruno, he should have wanted nothing to do with this HOH because I feel like the strategy for Bruno is just go back and hide into the shadows and not be so much on the forefront on the heels of Greg going out of the game. Emily, do you think is that the right idea, or do you agree Bruno's just got to win?
I was actually thinking that night after Arissa told the Twistos twist, I was thinking, oh my god, this would be the worst for Bruno to win HOH because he's been so irrelevant on the show, and I'm like, that's good. And I'm thinking if he wins, this is going to ruin his game because no matter what, he's going to get so much blood on his hands with this veto thing.
Yeah, because the veto thing is especially bad to win the HOH this week because you could potentially have the double veto, and then you could have to nominate 4 people in 1 week. Would you have to make 2 short lists? And Havish, would that be a long list at that point?
Yeah, I guess so. Targets are changing in the house daily, so you never know what's going to happen. People might just overhear another conversation or something like that.
Okay, so Bruno's got on the block right now it's Sarah and Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, Sarah and Johnny. And Alex, have we had the POV yet?
It sounds like it just finished. I'm still trying to figure out exactly who won. Some people are saying Bruno won, and some people are saying Kevin won.
Okay, I'm seeing in the chat room people are saying Bruno.
I'm trying to get the confirmation here.
Now,
I was gonna say, we know it's probably not going to be used now.
Looks like Bruno won.
But aren't the 2 options that it has to be? It's mandatory that it has to be used, or that a double that has to be used on both people, right? Or is it that the veto holder could use it on 0, 1, or 2 people, Alex?
0, 1, or 2. And I think if it ends up being that the double veto is the one that's picked and people voted based on false premises, I think you're going to see some seething anger at that point. So I think maybe even if the vote goes for the double veto, honestly, Big Brother Canada would be smart just to say it was the other one and just avoid this controversy altogether because that double veto situation at this point is just you don't want anything to do with it. It's just tainted with the.
Boycott Twistos. We will not buy Twistos until you make this right, Big Brother Canada. No, in all seriousness, what do we want here? Tell me, Emily, what are we rooting for here?
Well, if it was the double POV where both had to be taken off, I would have said that. But if it's not going to be that, I would just say...
Who will Bruno put back up there, then?
I don't know, but it would be interesting to see who. Actually, well, now that you mention it, he does kind of want to put Kevin up, and I think I heard something about Kevin and Pilar being put up, supposedly, so...
Yeah, but there's no chance the House is going to vote out Peely, right, Alex?
I know.
I certainly wouldn't vote out Peely because Peely is a houseplant.
Yes. So... I just feel like, okay, well, if one of these people goes home this week, okay, whatever. But I feel like there's a chance that somebody who is a player in this game could end up going out on this twist. And that's really going to be irritating. Havish, is this a likely scenario?
It might be. I don't know if Kevin will go home if he gets put up against Peely, just because I think the Newport Alliance might try to sway people into keeping Kevin. Because right now, Zach is going up to the chop shop and trying to deflect any notion of putting Kevin up on the block right now. So we'll see what's not going to happen.
All right. What are the other hot stories going on from the live feeds right now? Emily, what are you seeing right now?
Well, when I woke up this morning, there was this punishment going on in the house, and I was really confused, but I was listening to the housemates, or the house guest, and basically from the gist of it, Jordan told Big Brother to F off, jokingly, and he believes that was the main cause of it. But what I found out is apparently the house guests have been mishandling their microphones, and so Big Brother's taken away their hot water and their food and all their comfort, and they're bitching about it now.
Okay. All right. Alex, is this a real thing, or is Big Brother messing with them again?
I'm pretty sure this is real. They, as far as we know, they've taken away that stuff indefinitely. I mean, which,
indefinitely. You know, are we sure it's not because Jordan told Big Brother to F off?
I think that is a part of it. I think it's in the rules that you can't, explicitly shout expletives.
Now,
to Big
why would he
Brother
do? He's a nice young man. Why would he tell Big Brother to F off? It's his dream to go be on Big Brother. He's in the Big Brother house. What does he have to be unhappy about?
I watched the clip. He apologized immediately, but he was in the middle of strategy conversation, and he was just, we could hear what he was saying, but the fact was he was talking strategy with Sarah and Brittany in the bedroom, and then Big Brother comes over to the loudspeaker to the whole house, Jordan, please put on your microphone. So if you know he's in there with Sarah and Brittany in the bedroom, you've got to think he's talking strategy, and, it was probably that gut reaction of Big Brother just announced to the house, I'm talking strategy with two people who are in hot water right now.
No, there's no hot water.
Right.
Hot water now.
Good catch, sir. Good catch.
Yes. Okay, so he was mad that Big Brother blew up his spot, but he should have had his microphone on. And so because he got mad, then he said, F you, Big Brother. And then this is the equivalent of Big Brother washing his mouth out with soap.
Yeah, he apologized immediately, but right, I think, then it's probably, it has to be stated in the rules because they act.
Once you say the F word, just like Ralphie in the Christmas Story, once it's out, you're going to get punished now. Do not say the F word to Big Brother. All right? Have we seen this before where the house guests are the house is punished if somebody tells off Big Brother?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I feel like if it was directed towards Jordan, then he should have just been put on slop or something like that. And it was also directed towards Godfrey because supposedly he broke a mic or two.
What do they do with these microphones?
Dancing with them on and them falling off or whatever.
They're just dancing with the microphones and the microphones are breaking?
Willow
do you feel...
was dancing with one and it broke apparently.
Emily, are the house guests mistreating the microphones or are the microphones not up to par?
They're mistreating them.
Mistreating them. Okay. All right. Yes. Will they be washing out Jordan's mouth with OxyClean? Is the question. Will that be going? Yeah. Is the OxyClean stuff? Is this going too far with the product placement, Alex?
It's surprising me that they're able to reinvent product placement in Big Brother. Because relative to Survivor, Big Brother already in the U.S. version was already kind of up there, and the Canadian version is showing them how it's done. So, good for them, I guess. If the goal is to create revenue and have more budget for next season, I guess then they're laying down the tracks.
Yeah, I feel like this is a little bit interesting. Like I feel like in the Big Brother U.S. and I feel like also in Big Brother Canada, I feel like we've had like challenges around like promoting a movie or a TV show. Like what was it last year on Big Brother Canada 2? What was it? Was it Divergent when the first one came out? That there was a task that was or a POV that was like that and stuff like that. But in my mind, I feel like this is the first time we're seeing like a product that a challenge is built around. Alex, does that sound right to you?
I mean, obviously we've had Twistos as a constant theme.
Yes, but we haven't had a Twistos challenge.
Right. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any.
Yeah, Scorpion on Big Brother 16 last season.
Right. You've got
Stalker
Scorpion.
as well.
Stalker, yes, of course.
Also, you've got cross promo with movies.
Unforgettable, yeah. Yeah, but it's weird that this is the first time that we have a product here. Like, it's a lot of times there's a lot of like synergy of other CBS shows, and then there's also stuff. But this is like, it just was weird that this is the detergent challenge, and OxyClean wants to do that. It's like, it's just I don't like, it doesn't matter to me whether it's like, oh, this is OTEV and this is OxyClean, you know. It doesn't really bum me out. It's just like an interesting thing to note. All right, let's take some more questions here. Let's go for a little bit more before we get into watching The Amazing Race. Okay, let's take a question from South Newton 1. Who's the better player? Is it Sarah or Brittany? Okay, let's go down the line. Havish, better player, Sarah or Brittany?
I think Sarah is a better strategic player, but she's becoming a target, where Brittany is not so much a target right now. So right now, I guess Brittany's playing a better game.
Brittany is better. Okay, Emily.
I would say Sarah, but I think because of Brittany winning HOH, it's lit a fire under her, and I think it's shown that she can be potentially a good player. But strategically wise, I would say Sarah's a better player.
Sarah is a better player. All right, break the tie, Alex.
Well, for me, you know, if we're talking about better player the way you do, Rob, which is in a vacuum, play the game 100 times, who's doing better?
1,000 times.
1,000 times. You know, pick a number. To me, Sarah is the better player. However, in this game, at this time, Brittany is in the better position in the house. So,
Okay.
But if you're asking me who is the better player, I'm taking Sarah.
Can you guys speak to, this is something that I've read where there's a difference between how Brittany has come off on the TV show versus how she's been on the live feeds, where people who watch the TV show think she's really playing a great game, and I've read that people in the live feeds don't think she's doing that great. Emily, could you speak to that?
Yeah, because like the first few weeks, Brittany was moping around because she was like a have-not. She was being the target for most of the time, or the pawn. And I think a lot of people on the live feed see Sarah taking credit for the plan to backdoor Greg and who to put up. But on TV, it's coming across as this was all Brittany's plan all along. She was the mastermind behind it. But really, she did have help with Johnny and Sarah.
Okay. All right, so do you guys agree with that?
Getting a little bit of that Helen Kim edit, I'd say.
Okay. Oh, the Helen Kim edit.
A little bit.
All right. Sen 100. How do you guys think the returning house guest will return to the house? Do you guys think it'll play out like it did in BB3 US, where they ask a bunch of questions based on how the house guests are willing to give up to get back in the house? No. Arissa has said it'll be a competition, right? Do we have any sense? Have we got any further clues on any of that? Anybody?
No further clues, but I'm hoping it's going to be like a competition in BB15 where they're right beside the actual HOH competition.
Yeah. I hope that it is going to be a hot wing eating contest. What do you think? Who can eat the most wings to get back in the house? Alex, is that fun?
You know, I mean, that to me is a competition based on who wants it more.
Who wants it more?
And anything that's going to be a competition of who wants it more and not just sliding discs like they did in BB16, I'm all aboard.
That was like luck based.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the discs in the rotating circle. No.
Who wants it more? But the wings these are the hottest wings ever.
Mind over matter, Rob.
Yes.
You don't mind, or the wings don't mind, and you don't matter.
Yes. Oh boy. I'll be all in on hot wings eating challenge. Get me on the phone with Global, Havish.
Yeah. So are we gonna limit this to a certain time, or you have to finish a certain amount? The first person to finish a certain amount. Okay,
so this is how it's gonna work. All right. So the wings, I want get me the hottest hot sauce in Canada. We might have to ship it in from Buffalo. We'll import the hottest hot sauce from Buffalo into Canada. Get it up there, and then we have a plate of 30 wings, and then we're gonna put the hot sauce on the plate of wings, and then we're gonna put 10 minutes on the clock, and if you finish all 30, to the satisfaction of the judges, then you get back in the house. If not, we'll go by whoever ate the most in 10 minutes.
All right.
Who
Sounds good.
wants it more? All right, let's take another question. Jericho says, I'm going on the feeds once in a while, but supposedly Willow has been melting down a lot and crying. What's going on with her? Alex, can you talk about what's going on with Willow? Weeping Willow.
Weeping Willow.
That's good. I don't know how that didn't come to me yet. That's really good. Yeah, the last few days it seems like she's just kind of been in kind of an emotional funk. I think that's probably to be expected. The Big Brother house is a roller coaster, so you're gonna have highs, you're gonna have lows. I think right now she's coming to grips with the Zach Ashley thing. I think she had a crush on Zach early on, at least a little.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Let's be fair.
That's true.
Handsome guy.
No, he's a beautiful man. That's Zach.
Yes.
I think, I think it's just she's been kind of down lately, and I think also she's kind of seeing a little bit that people are starting. I think her stock has taken a little bit of a hit in the last week or two because some information that's gotten to her seems to have gotten back out and then gotten back to the original source a couple times, and so people, at least a little bit, maybe subconsciously, might be avoiding like very intimate conversation with her, and I think maybe she feels that on some level as well.
Okay. Hold on. We have some news coming in.
Breaking news are happening now.
Ashley B in the chat room is reporting and reminding us that I believe the challenge to get people back in the house is sponsored by KFC. What's the hottest chicken wing that KFC makes? Havish, do you know?
I am not sure, Rob. You would have as good a guess as I would.
Is there any plans for KFC to announce a very hot wing?
I hope so.
Okay. Let's see.
You go original extra spicy, Rob, and then you get the Tabasco that comes with it.
Original extra spicy.
Oh yeah.
That could be the twist to get people back into the Big Brother house. Oh my God. I think that we figured it all out. In the season of product placement, this is it. All right, let's take another question from Luke Adams. Is it a good idea for Zach, Kevin, and Jordan to be such a tight alliance? It seems that's so risky to align yourself with people that you know are willing to stab you in the back, even if they're big targets. Okay, what do you think, Emily? Is it a good or bad idea for Zach, Kevin, and Jordan to be a tight alliance?
I think it's bad, but it's also good. It has its pros and cons. They all have their set of skills. Like you have Zach, the athletic one, you have Jordan, the mental, strategic one, and you have Kevin, who's kind of a combination of both mental and physical. So I don't know. I guess it just depends. For the cons, it's one of them is going to stab each other in the back. It just depends who. Will it be Zach to stab Jordan in the back? Will it be Kevin to stab both of them in the back? I don't know.
Who's the first one out of those three? Havish.
Probably Kevin. Looking at it right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Alex, who's the first one out of those three?
I would say Kevin, although I think right now, if you were to ask Jordan, I think he may have intentions on making that his final three. I mean, I think, he had a final two with Zach, and he had a final two with Kevin, and then they formed the triangle. I mean, in his head, I think he probably thinks both would take him to the end, and I don't know that he's necessarily wrong. So,
Emily, are you going to sweep it? Or did Emily freeze up?
Sweep what? Sorry, you cut out.
Sorry. Are you going to sweep that? It's going to be Kevin is the first one out of the Bermuda Triangle?
I would say yes, because the fact that he's still doing the Fortress signal and he doesn't realize that Jordan is using that as a fake alliance, I feel like yes, probably.
Okay. I have to say also that I think for a guy who seems like he's pretty athletic and coordinated, I think that Zach needs to work on the the I vote to evict. I think Jordan's got it down. It's almost like every week Zach is like after he's voting, then he's like remembering afterwards like what he was supposed to do. Right? Is it just me, or is that coming across as a little bit uncoordinated, Alex?
I vote to evict Greg.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody, there's too many gang signs being flashed in the diary room. And like everybody, like for the record, like if you're voting as somebody out of the chop shop, should you still be doing chop shop signs when you're voting out Greg? Does Greg like that, Havish?
I wouldn't assume he probably wouldn't like that, but I think everybody just wants to feel a part of something, and that's why they're doing it.
I guess so. All right.
Rob, what do you think about the idea of a season where everyone's already an existing gang member?
Okay, so then
Think we get some good signs then? Or?
But are gang signs, are they secret? Like, are you not supposed to flash gang signs that from your gang?
Oh no, I just think they'd come in with some good, original kind of unique hand formations and stuff. I think we'd see some good.
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, at some point, I think we're gonna reach a saturation point. I think Big Brother's gonna shut it down. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point, maybe even in Big Brother 17, Battle of the Seasons, that they shut down all these gang signs in the diary room. What about the pass, like when they pass each other in the hallway? Are you guys all still cool with like doing like a dance and stuff like that? Because I gotta be honest, it takes me a little bit out of the tension of the voting. What do you think, Emily?
Yeah, it seems like very staged. Like they practice it like hours before eviction, and it does kind of seem like, okay, like I don't know, it just takes the tension away.
Yeah, because to me it's like, oh my God, oh what's gonna happen? Oh, somebody's getting voted off. This is a tense moment, and then they're like doing like do-si-do and like a coordinated dance and like they're doing like
making out.
Yeah, they're like doing the Roger Rabbit back and forth to each other and backflip and stuff like that. It kills the excitement and the tension for me, Alex.
Yeah, I think.
Am I just being cranky about this?
No, I think it's absolutely a fair point. It's not fun for the viewer. I think one thing that I give it a pass just because somebody who watches the feeds as much as I do, I'm very conscious of the fact that they're in a house, super conscious of the fact they're in a house all day with nothing to do. So some of that time ends up being devoted to ridiculous things, and it's just become par for the course that one of those ridiculous things is going to be how they transition into their vote.
Yeah. Big Brother, I vote to evict the transition dancing. Shut it down, okay? How about that? And the shout-outs are out of control. Also, I mean, Greg went on and on and on with the shout-outs too. I mean, that's they need to, like, in addition to microphones, like the microphone should be part of a shock collar. And then when the people are doing stuff in the Big Brother house that's bad, like once they go into like shout-outs, it's like until they stop and then. Would Big Brother be better if the microphone was part of a shock collar, Havish?
I think it would be better, but I think you'd get a lot of humanitarian rights people after you. Maybe we can make it like vibrate a little or something.
Like the PlayStation controller?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't think that would stop them. I think you need the shock collar, and I think more people would watch. That would be a Twistos twist. Shock collar season. Okay. This is from Scott J, who says, do you guys think that the Johnny, Sarah, Britt have any chance of surviving this week? I think they've got a great chance to survive this week. Does anybody think that they don't have a chance to survive this week? All right.
So I think I think at least one of them is probably going to be going, just because now that we know that the maybe if Kevin gets put up against Sarah, then Kevin might go home. But other than that, they're saying right now that their hexagon alliance is going to form into a pentagon alliance.
So the hexagon alliance can change shapes? It's a shape-shifting alliance?
I guess according to these guys, it can.
Do they know what a shape is with 7 sides?
I don't think they do right now.
The danger of not having Google. They're getting a little too cute. Okay, let's take this question from McGurk, USC. Says, do you think that Zach and JP are making a mistake by not turning on the Chop Shop sooner? They may be down in the numbers for the later portion and not be able to knock them out. Is this a concern? Do Zach and JP have to turn on the Chop Shop sooner? I don't think it is. Does anybody think it's a mistake?
I think it's a minor concern right now. I think it's something that maybe...
Why, Alex?
Something to be cognizant of. Well, I think you touched on it earlier when you said that they were trying to play the middle, both sides against the middle, and the sides aren't equal. You've got, a disparity in terms of numbers on each side. So I think they might have been better served, going trying to find a way to get another Chop Shop member out before going at the 3 if they're truly trying to stay central all the way through. But I think at this point it's a minor concern. If it continues, if you take out a Sarah or Johnny this week and then somebody else from the Chop Shop wins HOH next week, I think that concern bumps from a 1 or a 2 to maybe a 5. So
okay.
It's
All right, let's do
on.
one last question, and I gotta start watching Amazing Race. Okay. This is from Captain Klefke. It says, do you see Jordan going out like Peter Brown, losing his partner Alex in the early jury, and then goes out soon after due to him being a trivia comp threat? Or can he use his social game to maneuver to the end game? Okay. So what do we think? Will Alex and will Jordan will Jordan and Zach go out in a similar manner to the Shield? All right, last question, Havish. What do you think?
I don't think so. Right now, the Newport's plan is to bring in Kevin and bring in Peely and bring in Ashley to form a nice tight group of 5 and try to run it around jury. So if that works out, then I don't think it will. But it could always backfire on them, and they could always just lose out. Somebody like Sarah, who's already on to Jordan and Zach, could win and put both of them up right away.
Okay, Emily.
If they've watched Big Brother 1, you would probably be looking at the 2 and thinking, wow, that looks really similar to Peter and Alex. I should get rid of them, because that's what I would be doing.
Yep. What happened to this being a secret alliance, Alex?
Yeah, I think they're getting a little too confident. I think it's not intentional, but I do think that they're in a better position than the Shield ever was, mainly because I don't think there's as many people in the house right now that are, capable of catching on to them or in a position to want to bring them down. Like, there's a lot of floaters, and then there's some people who are kind of, thinking they're right there in with them. But I think it is something to be thinking about because, I heard a conversation today with JP and Zach where he says they want to go Johnny and then Bobby and then Bruno, and then you look at that final 9, game over, dude. And anytime you're talking game over at 9, I mean,
9.
Remember Tala at 5, her vote was like a decision-making vote. Numbers are numbers at the end of the day, and a vote is a vote. And regardless of how capable that person is, their vote means more every week. So something for them to watch.
Yeah, I'll say the best thing going for the tag team of Newport is no Emmett, no Jillian in the house right now. And I think that they have a big advantage over the Shield because I think the Shield had more formidable opposition than anybody else I'm seeing out there, especially a tight pair like Emmett and Jillian. All right, so great job, everybody. Let's get out everybody's Twitter handles. Havish, how can people follow you on Twitter? It's Havish_Patel, Patel. There you go. All right. And then Emily, you can follow Emily with her very fun Twitter name. That's, of course, at StobbsBroski. Thank you, Emily.
No problem.
Okay. And Emily is wrapping up her work on Dr. Phil for this season, and we will hope to hear about some exciting job opportunities coming for Emily. And then finally, here is Alex at Alex Kidwell. There you go.
Thank you, Rob.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, everybody. This was a lot of fun here on Friday night. We'll do our next Big Brother Canada podcast on Tuesday. Mike Bloom's going to be filling in for me, and I'm going to be heading to Vegas for the New Media Expo and the Podcast Awards. If anybody's going to be in Vegas next week, let me know on Twitter. Maybe we're going to organize something with different RHAP fans that happen to be in Vegas for the conferences. Then we're going to be back here on Friday. I'll be back to talk about the latest in Big Brother Canada, and we'll see. By the way, is this person that gets kicked out on Wednesday, are they going to be eligible to return to the house? Is that all going to happen on Wednesday? Does anybody know?
Yeah, I think so. I think
all happening. Havish is reporting. Okay. All right, we're going to hold you to that. All right, so we'll see what happens this Wednesday if somebody comes back into the house. And if not on Wednesday, then I'm sure soon after we'll talk about it here next Friday And if you missed any of our coverage of Survivor this week, that's all up on robinsonwebsite.com. We had our really fun podcast with Sophie G. Clark and Mike Bloom. That's on robinsonwebsite.com. And if you're a Game of Thrones fan, be sure to catch our coverage of the Game of Thrones season premiere this Sunday night on post-show recaps at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Season 5 kicks off this Sunday night, 10:15 p.m. Eastern at postshowrecaps.com. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk to you again soon.